Peace and blessings, YouTube subscribers, family, friends, associates. This is the Ravenous Blackbird, your host, and you have once again tuned in to my YouTube channel, the Ravenous Blackbird YouTube channel show. And if you are a first time viewer, second time viewer, third time viewer, and so forth and so on, and you have not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, please feel free right below this video if you're watching this on YouTube, which more than likely you probably are. Uh, Click the subscribe button, and right next to that subscribe button, it should be a bell. Click that bell button. That way, when you click the bell for notification, you will receive notification every time I post a new video, and you will stay up to date. You will get notification of the video that I post, to your cell phone, to your desktop computer, or your tablet, or however it is you're viewing my YouTube videos and other videos that you probably are watching. So I welcome you. And today we're going to be talking about some things you probably noticed in regards to conservative Christians, well, conservatives, but especially conservative Christians like myself, people that are standing up for pro-life, standing up for pro-guns, standing up for everything right regarding the Bible, standing up for prayer, prayer in schools. I can go on and on and on. We're standing up for what's right, okay? As most conservative Christians are. And there has been a extreme, what's the word I'm trying to use? I could say persecution, but it's coming to every Christian, no matter if you Democrat but there's a thin line, and I have other videos in regards to that. I just posted a video in regards to the difference between the Democratic Christians and the conservative Christians. It seems like it's kind of like night and day. But I'm not going to address that in this video. I want to address that it seems to me, and maybe you've noticed this if you are a conservative, especially a conservative Christian, that there has been an extreme I'm trying to think of the right words. Uh, 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 Not hatred, but extreme agenda against conservative Christians and conservatives on social media. It started around, when President Donald Trump got his Facebook frozen and shut down, and his Twitter account. Okay, they're trying to silence. They have an agenda and trying to silence conservatives, especially conservative Christians. And they're not monkeying around with the Democratic Christians and Democrats that are heavily on social media. And you can deny it all you want to. And I know conservative Christians, I know a lot of conservatives that because we stand for what's right, just pretty much what President Trump did, stood for what's right. And there has been an extreme agenda to, you know what? They're saying we don't want the truth about what's going on in the White House to get out, the witchcraft that's going on in the White House, the sorcery. We don't want the media to know or hear anything about the Bible any longer, as they're trying to silence churches, pastors, conservative Christians, and they're trying to think of an agenda or a law to pass to call the Bible hate speech. Anybody that seems to stand up for pro-life, to stand up for what's right, it seems like there's a shifting taking place, and this has already started some time ago, where now doing wrong is considered right, and people that are standing for what's right and believing what's right and speaking what's right in truth is considered speaking wrong. What I say, okay, which could be truth according to the Bible, is being twisted that it's wrong. But abortion now, it's okay, it's right. To take away our guns, okay, this gun reform that the Biden administration is soon going to be coming out with to try to take away our guns. All of a sudden, that's right. two men marrying each other. And believe me, I have nothing against homosexuals, lesbians, LGBTQ. It's the lawlessness and the sin. And this is why they're trying to silence conservatives and especially conservative Christians, especially conservative Christians. And it's been an outpouring agenda to try to silence the conservatives on Twitter, on Facebook. I've even had some conservatives that are telling the truth about certain things, and we have the constitutional right to do so. That I thought, and First Amendment right, and so forth and so on, and we have religious freedom. So I thought, okay, and their videos are being pulled, um, much like what happened with President Trump. So I wanted to do a video about this in a sense of, as you know, my constitutional right, First Right Amendment, yada yada, religious freedom, and it's appalling to me, and it's shocking because when I went to try to use keywords in my video here on YouTube, the word conservative, they have it blocked. You cannot use President Trump's name as a keyword. You can't use conservative as a keyword so that other conservatives or conservative Christians or Trump followers can find your videos. But if you put in President Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Vice President, you put in Democratic Party or Democrats, and so forth and so on, the keywords take just like that. Now I don't know if any of if and I'm not making this up. Okay, if you're a Democrat, you're probably clapping your hands, good, yada yada yada, whatever. But God sees the unjust, and this is what social media sites don't realize. When you're trying to come against the children of God, you're coming against God, and God's truth is always going to get out, regardless of the fact. There's always Christians here, conservatives there, that's getting the truth out no matter what. Okay, but I just thought that I would make a video about this because it's actually shocking to me when you can't even put a key word in there of the name conservative. And if you know what I'm talking about, keywords, when you know, you guys that are authors that do videos on YouTube know, you can put in keywords in your video so that people can, in the search engine, can find your videos. And they have conservative blocked. You can't use the political party conservatives or any Donald Trump or anything associated with him or his family or anything like that in the keywords so that they can find your videos. So now what's happening is that it's making it not only difficult for conservative Christians to get truth out, to exercise our constitutional right, and First Right Amendment, yada yada yada. But now it's making it difficult for us to even bind together and make friends of the same mind. It's kind of hard to find conservative Christians now, and I'm not talking about in church because now in church the church is divided. Now you got a bunch of Christians in church that think it's okay to vote for abortion, same-sex marriage, and I can't fellowship with so-called Christians that believe that sin and lawlessness is all right. And then yet, now, us that are conservative Christians, since they're trying to shut down social media sites, they don't want the truth to get out. We can't use conservative and as a keyword when we're creating our videos. We can't use President Trump, anything associated with him, as if he was such a bad guy. And what it was is the agenda, his righteous agenda that they hated. They hated the fact that President Trump blessed the Jews in Jerusalem, that he stood for pro-life, and he stood for pro-guns, and he was a little rough around the edges. And they claimed that's what they didn't like about him. That's not what it was. It was his righteous agenda for prayer, for standing up for the many billions of babies that are being aborted and still being aborted, standing up for Bible marriage and so forth and so on, and how he moved the United States Embassy to Jerusalem. Okay, so the Democratic Party hated that. They hated that. They hated what President Trump stood for, and they feared him because he was standing up for what's right. But now it seems the tables have turned, and I think I'm gonna do a video about that. how it seems like what's right is considered wrong, and what's wrong, murdering babies and yada yada yada, all of this sin is considered all right and right. And people's, you know, constitutional rights are now being violated. And it just amazes me. For instance, our now president with the border wall situation, nobody's saying anything. I don't hear any news anchor people when they're telling what's going on regarding the border wall. They're never saying, well, President Biden shouldn't have did that. Blah 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 blah. If that was President Trump that would have did that, if the shoes are on the foot and what's going on with the border wall and all this other stuff that's going on in the White House, if that was President Trump, all the bad stuff will be coming out. They'll be persecuting him, talking about him, ridiculing him. None of the news anchors, nobody said anything negative about what's going on in the White House with the border wall policy, with the removing of President Trump's border wall policy, and now look at the chaos that's going on at the border wall. Okay, and then the missiles that was fired, I think it was in Iraq or one of those countries, a few weeks ago. There was no missiles being fired at all when President Trump was in office. We didn't have border wall problems when he was in office. So I don't want to get off into him, but it started from President Trump being in office, and there's been an agenda. And if other conservative Christians or conservatives watching this video, if you've had that same problem and you're noticing this, we really need to pray. Because what that's telling me is that they are trying to do away with the Constitution. They're trying to do away with our constitutional rights. It's all right to talk about sin. It's all right to talk about murdering babies. It's all right to talk about two men getting married, two women marrying each other. It's all right to talk about a socialistic or socialism agenda that the Biden administration and the Democratic Party has been trying to establish, and they couldn't get it done because President Trump was in office. It's all right to talk about that stuff. But when you try to bring truth, some type of truth that's going to set people free from their sins, that's going to help people, biblical truth, Bible marriage, upholding pro-life, and I can go on and on and on. People don't want to hear it, or they try to silence you. And so now they're trying to get rid of our constitutional rights, First Amendment rights, and so forth and so on, so that we now don't have a voice or a platform to express ourselves as conservative Christians or conservatives or people that are standing for what's right. And at this point, if you're a conservative Christian and you're watching this video, we need to pray. We need to seriously pray for YouTube. We need to pray for all the social media sites. We need to pray for Twitter. You see what they did with President Trump's accounts, okay? And because they didn't want it, they tried to hide it and say that it was because of his behavior and because of the riot at the Capitol and anything. And he didn't have anything to do with the riot at the Capitol. Nothing at all. So everything he does, President Trump did, they twisted it and made it seem like it was bad. Every time you turn on the news channels, it was all the bad stuff about him. But you don't hear one bad thing about President Biden and all of this stuff, junk that's going on in the White House, the witchcraft and the sorcery and the monkeying around with President Trump's policies and in the missiles that was fired and all this other stuff that's going on. And then we're going to end up having to pay higher taxes because of the stimulus package and all this. Nobody's saying anything bad about that. Everybody's just sitting back like it's nothing. So the point that I'm making is now right is considered wrong, and wrong now is considered right. So I urge my conservative Christian brothers and sisters, if you're watching this video, and if you're a Democrat or independent or whatever you call yourself, and you're watching this, I'm saying these things in love. Is not to beat you or to condemn anybody. It's just things that I notice from a biblical perspective, from being a man of God that prays, and I spend time with God, and I'm seeing things out of the eyes of God. Okay, that there is a agenda that is against the church that's starting, an agenda that's against Christians and especially conservative Christians. That people don't want truth to get out about what's going on in the White House and what's going on around the world, the unjust, or I should say injustice, towards people that are standing up for what's right. So as I pray for America and pray for the Biden administration, especially, and the Democratic Party, especially, and the Republican Party, and we pray for these social media sites because our constitutional rights are being violated. And they are trying their best to silence us, and they're trying their best to shut down videos and certain channels and stuff of people that have that do their research. Like me, I do my research and I study. But one thing I want you people to remember that's monkeying around with Christians, especially conservative Christians, is that when you mess around with God's children in that form of fashion, you come against us, you're coming against God. And your arms are too short to box with God. This is the Ravenous Blackbird. Please feel free to leave comments, click like, click dislike, share your thoughts. I love to hear your thoughts because your thoughts matter to me. Until the next video, peace be still.